Today, I'm going to show you how to do a DTS interpretation in Emeraude. Apart from the DTS array, we have spinner data here and the apparent velocity. As you can see in this bottom section, the apparent velocity indicates negative. This means downwards flow, and this is caused by water recirculation. So indeed, this is a really good case to use temperature for flow profiling. So let's right-click here on the DTS array and explore from where we can access the individual temperature traces. So there we go. This is our array. Initially, the DTS records a shut-in period and then different tests at various choke sizes. So I'm going to right-click here, for example, and extract the temperature at this particular date and time. Otherwise, you can come here to add and select other traces of interest. There we go. We are going to copy the traces on exit. These traces are now available for interpretation. So let's start by defining some of the interpretation settings. We are going to activate the thermal engine. We are not going to use any spinners. In the reference channels, the only channels that we require are the temperature, in this case, from the extracted DTS traces. And we are going to use a pressure, since there are pressure passes here. I'm going to use one of them. Otherwise, Emeraude can calculate it for you. So let's go to the temperature tab. Wellbore flowing conditions, in this case, is a production. We need to define the heat loss coefficient. We are going to use the completion components. For example, here, this is casing of 6.184 inches ID, 7-inch OD, 8.5 is the outside the wellbore diameter. The casing thermal conductivity is 40 watts per meter Kelvin, and the cement is about 1. Okay, let's compute, and this is our heat loss coefficient. The next option here is the geothermal temperature that is defined by the depth and a gradient itself. If you don't know these values, we can use the measured temperature to regress on it and get the gradient. So let's do that. I'm going to accept these default values. The rock thermal conductivity, in this case, is 4, is a sandstone, is a bit larger. Okay, so let's go to transient here, because as we've seen, the measure, the DTS includes shut-in period and then different choke sizes. So I'm going to say that the production time in this case was about 6 hours. And then finally, external reservoir radius. I'm going to set it to 2000. We are going to see the pressure drop options at a later stage. So let's click OK. And that's it. This is our temperature match. This is the main track that we are going to use. In green, you can see the geothermal temperature, and in red, the DTS trace. Clearly, the geothermal temperature is not ideal for this case. So what we're going to do from the Edit and QAQC tab, use the pick nearest option to activate our measured temperature. And using this TGeo, we're going to regress at the bottom of the log where we think we can find the geothermal temperature. And that's it. You can see the regression shows the expected geothermal temperature. Okay. In this case, we already defined the PVT, so we go next to the QCalc zone. Although the rate calculation zones are not critical because we're using the continuous method, what we need is a good definition of the inflow zone. So we are going to set for each perforation, we are going to set an inflow zone. But for example, can you see this big perforation? The temperature shows like a break, meaning that the production is likely not homogeneous, right? Not even across this perforation. So I'm going to set a small rate calculation in between. in order to split the two zones. And that's it, right? So I'm going to set another rate calculation zone down here, and there we go. So we are going to the inflow definition now. Just one more thing. In the inflow, we need to define the pressure drop in the reservoir. This can be done in two ways: either the Darcy parameters, meaning the skin and the permeability, or a drawdown. In this case, we have flowing and shut-in pressure, so the delta P between the two can be used as a direct drawdown measurement. So when we go to inflow, first is defining the reservoir zones. There we go. We're going to access the temperature tab, and in the pressure drop, again, this is from where you could enter the permeabilities and skin, or come here and enter a direct drawdown. So in this case, the drawdown was about 116 psi. I'm going to use this for all the inflow zones. And that's it. We are ready. We go to contributions. In the contributions, we are going to use the global regression, and we can use the total surface rates as a constraint. So if you take this option, the match surface conditions, it will use a weight equal to 1. In this case, same weight as the temperature to obtain the result. So we use the global improve option. So you can see that after each iteration, the results are closer and closer, the simulated, in blue are closer and closer to the measured, until the error is minimized, and that's our solution. Okay, so it's nearly there. There we go. I'm going to click OK. So these are our results. And as you can see here, comparing to the spinner RPS, these results are very much in line to what the PLT is measuring. But on top of that, since the temperature is not influenced by the water recirculation, we can get an estimate of the oil production from these bottom layers. Okay, hope this was helpful for you, and see you in the next video.